And finally tonight, staying with sport, former England rugby captain Dylan Hartley has been speaking about his recovery from repeated traumatic brain injuries caused by his professional sporting career. Since moving to Dubai 2 years ago, the former player received a life-changing treatment called hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which has been proven to halt mental decline. Katie Chambers has been speaking to him about his recovery.
Dylan Hartley, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today. We're here to talk about your brain injury post your professional career in English rugby. What were the first symptoms that you had from it, and when could you tell that there was something not quite right?
I played rugby for 16 years professionally, and I took a lot of knocks to my head, and then I suppose it was referred to as concussion. And I didn't really get, I suppose, the treatment I needed, because you're always playing rugby, you're always getting better, you're always getting ready for the weekend. So I never actually stepped back and actually addressed my brain injury.
How is traumatic brain injury treated? I mean, when you moved to Dubai, did you realise there was a cure for it?
Look, I retired from rugby about 4 years ago, and I went on a bit of a mission to put myself back together. Bones, surgeries, hip replacement, this sort of stuff. But the one thing that I really wanted to get into was my brain. And then when I moved to Dubai, a few things aligned, and I found the Aviv Clinic right here on my doorstep in JLT. And someone took me up there, introduced me to the team. And before you know it, I was into the program. So I embarked on a 3-month journey with Aviv, doing what they call HBOT, or hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It's a bit of a mouthful. And just from start to finish, my results blew me away.
And with the symptoms, it was a few things, wasn't it? But more than just being clumsy and dropping objects.
I experienced things like things that you wouldn't notice and my family wouldn't notice, or I do a bit of TV work, a bit of punditry, a bit of commentary, but I started to stammer and stutter. I started to drop things. I was, my kids annoy me some of the time, most of the time, but certain noises and being able to tolerate certain environments were quite hard. What I would refer to as chronic fatigue, but we're all good actors, and I'd put my best foot forward and I'd go and I'd do my meeting, I'd do my work, but afterwards I'd have this chronic fatigue. So, lots of little things were chipping away at me, and ultimately I was going to bed at night. And there's a big thing happening in my sport at the moment, where players probably 5 to 10 years older than me are coming out with early onset dementia. And I was going to bed every night thinking this was happening to me.
And after those 3 months of treatment, what are the results?
Before the program, I did kind of cognitive testing. I did scans on my brain. And scanning my brain was a really sort of nerve-wracking thing to do, because it was almost seeing or admitting and accepting the years of damage that I've done to my brain. So I was really reluctant to do it. But I did it, knowing that I was going to do this program and be able to scan it afterwards. So again, my testing improved. Some of the numbers were incredible. And then to actually see pictures of my brain from before and after in terms of perfusion or blood flow in areas that were lacking were worlds apart. So one, I left feeling great. And I was telling everyone I felt great and things were alleviated. But then I saw the evidence, the black and white sort of data of where I had improved. It just confirmed everything how I felt.
Dylan Hartley, thank you so much for speaking to us, and really good to hear your positive recovery from brain injury.
Thank you for talking to me.